So what I'm going to do here, that I'm going to explain the program that will illustrate this array manipulation topic. So here what you are looking is I have considered a array element of size 10. In this line, I'm going to manipulate the program. I'm going to manipulate the array element, and in this line I'm going to print the array element. So you can see here that this is manipulation. What I'm doing at each index of the array, I am adding the 100 in the index number. Means when the index number is 0, the value will be 100. When the index number is 1, the value will be 101. When the index value will be 2, the value of the array will be 102, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to print it. Oh, here I have to use the semicolon. So I'm going to print it. So some mistakes are there. So I'm going to use the \t since I have not used, so I'm not getting the very nice result. \t I'm going to print, and let's see what will the output. The output is 101, 102, 103, 4 up to 9. So now I want to print the address of each element. So in order to print the address, I'm just putting the %. Here %, is nothing but it is going to print the address, and in the place of %d I can use the %u as well, because this is for the unsigned integer. Address can never be negative number. So when I'm going to print it, what you are looking, 36, 40, 44, 48, 52, 56. So what you are looking, that all the elements that we have printed 100, 101, 2 are consecutive in the memory locations. So conclusion here is that all the array elements are allocated consecutively. Consecutive memory locations are allocated for it. So that's it. So manipulation we have done. Now in the next slide, multi-dimensional array. So just like the single dimension, we have the C allows the multi dimensions as well. We have to write like this: int a 4 comma 5. Means when we have only one subscript, means we have single dimension. When we have two subscript, matlab we are having two dimensions, and when we have three subscript, meaning we have the three dimension. So this is a three-dimensional array. So this is nothing but the first one is the type, any valid type of C. Name is the name of the array, and size 1, size 2, size n is the size of each dimensions. And I have explained example here. The simplest form of the multidimensional array is the two-dimensional array. So whenever we are talking about two-dimensional array, we have to write like this: int a 3 comma 4, means we have two dimension. So this is capable of storing 12 elements. You can see here 12 elements. So here we can also say that we have to create an array which have 12 boxes. 12 boxes. These are the 12 boxes. And each box we are going to store a single element. It can hold one value that is of integer type. So two-dimensional array is essentially a list of one-dimension array. So what its meaning is that it can be also said like this, that we have three lists. First list is like this, second list is like this, and third list is like this. So the first subscript indicates the list number, that how many lists are there. So we have three lists, and each list has four elements. So you can see that in each list the size is of four elements. So here in this representation we can consider first four element as list 0, second four element as list 1, and third four element as list 2. So list 0, list 1 and list 2. So this is justified that a two-dimensional array is in essence a list of one-dimensional arrays, right? So what is happening, that we can also say that whenever we are talking about x and y size of two-dimensional array, we have to write int a 3, 4, where 3 is x and 4 is y. So this can be also considered as a table where there are 3 rows and 4 columns. A table. This is 0th row, first row and second row. So these are the 3 rows, and the 4 column means 0th column, first column, second column and third column. These are the 4 columns. Now whenever we are going to access a single value, we can access by the rowth number and the columnth number. So let's suppose this is the A two-dimensional array. So whenever we want to access an element, first of all we have to give its row number, and after that I have to give its column number. And when we are going to print this number, it will give the value which is holding by this box, that is the 1th row and 2th column, right? So this is all about how to access the array elements. So various initializations are possible. So this initialization is possible in C. So what its meaning is, we have 3 lists or we have 3 rows, of each row is of 4 columns of size column. So the first element 0, 1, 2 and 3, it is first row, that is the row 0 row. Again the next 4 element, that is 4, 5, 6 and 7, it is row 1, that is the second row. And the third row is row 2, that is 8, 9, 10 and 11. So this 3 indicates that how many rows are there, and this 4 indicates that in each row how many columns are there. So this is also possible. This initialization is also possible because we have total 12 elements. 3 into 4 means we have total 12 elements, and inside this bracket we have 12 elements. From 0 to 11 it is total 12 elements. So what it will do, the compiler will automatically break this set of elements in 3 rows and 4 columns. Because it is given 3 and 4, it will break automatically. It will consider these 4 elements in row 1, this 4 element in row 2 and this 4 element in row 3, right? Now this is also possible because we don't know that how many rows are there, but we know in each row there are 4 elements. So first 4 element will be in row 0, second 4 element will be in row 1, and third 4 element will be in row 2. So this is row 0, row 1 and row 2. So these elements will be occupied in each boxes accordingly, because we know the size of each row, and this is the size of each row, that is the 4, and it will be automatically divided into the 3 rows. Now this initialization is not possible. What is the reason behind this? Here we know the number of rows, that we have 3 rows in advance, but we don't know that what is the number of elements in each row. For example, let's suppose that compiler is assuming that there are only 2 rows in the 2 columns into the first row, 3 columns into the second row, and not 3 here, consider 4, and 5 columns into the, not 5, I am considering, let's suppose 7 columns, or let's suppose 5 column, or we can consider. So since we don't know that what is the size of each row, the compiler will assume the size by itself, and that size will be random for each row. So 0th row and first row, first element will be stored here. 2, 3, 4 and 5 will be stored here. 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10 will be stored here. These are the random sizes of each row, but we don't have the place for the 11th element, because each size compiler can assume anything. It can assume 2, 2 and 2 for each rows. It can assume 3, 3, 3 for each rows, but we have the size of 12 element. So the 11th row will not be stored within the range of this array, within the size of this array, and this will be remain out of the array bound. So it will create a compile time error. So what the conclusion is, that this column, that is the row size, is optional here, but the column size is necessary here. It is mandatory, necessary here. Now here what we have done, we have created the 3 rows of size 4. So compiler will automatically create the, assume that here will be 3 rows and 4 columns. Why? Because we have defined the size of each row by placing this nested curly braces, and this nested curly braces is defining that what is the size of the row is, right? So since the size is equal, it will assume 4, and there are 3 rows, so it will assume 3. So this initialization is possible. So I hope you have got this point. Now how to access and manipulate the two-dimensional array? So what we have considered here, we have 5 rows and 2 columns. So structure will be like this. And here we have stored 0, 0, 1, 2, that is 2, 4, 3, 6 and 4, 8. This is 0th row, first row, second row, third row and 4th row. This is 0th row and first column, 0th column and first column. So this is the row number and this is the column number. So whenever I want to access this element, first of all I have to define its row number. So what its row number is, let's suppose the name of this array is A. So row number is 2 and column number is 1. And we have to write the array name as well. And whenever we are going to print this index, we are going to print the value 4, right? So this accessing is possible, as well as we can manipulate any element. So let's see. So we have to create a two-dimensional array. So I'm not going to write this program. I'm leaving it up to you, that you have to uh, manipulate this by yourself. You have to write this program and execute it. You will get the output like this, right? So character array in C languages. Character array is also known as a string. So I will cover the string topic later in deep, but till right now I am explaining the character array. This is also called the string. So whenever we are going to write a character array, so we have to type, since when we are declaring an integer array, we are writing int a and bracket में size. So int greeting and size I am not defining, and I am writing here hello. So what it will do, the compiler will create a block. Since we have 5 characters, you can see we have 5 characters. So compiler will create the 5 blocks. First block will contain H, second block will contain E, third will contain L, L and O. So each block is containing one characters, and the indexing is from 0 to 4. And the name of the character array is greeting. Now, whenever you are going to declare a string or a character array, it by default going to insert a null character. And this null character is defining the ending of or the terminating of this character array. Now, why this null character is included, when I will tell you the string, at that time I will tell you that why this null character are included, right? So what will happen here, that whenever we are going to print the size of this greeting, it must gives 5 bytes, because the character array is taking 1 byte. So since there are 5 characters, the size of this greeting must be the 5 bytes. But when we are going to print it, let's see, I'm going to print it. I'm making it as a comment till now. So forget this line. What I am doing, I have written the greeting character array with the anonymous size, and this I am also terminating now, because there is no need of this I. We have to only focus on these 2 lines. So whenever we are going to print the size of greeting, since there are 5 characters, so it must print 5. But very surprisingly, it is printing the size 6. The reason is that after this O, it is going to print it is going to print this null character. The size it is going to print as a null character. So since whenever we are writing like this, that greeting 5 and hello, this will be wrong. Why? Because along with this 5 characters, it will also print the null character. So the size of greeting must be 6. So this is the right declaration and initialization of the character array. So what is the conclusion here? Whatever the size of the string or character array, whatever the length here is the literal of the string or the character array, the size of the array variable must be 1 greater than the size of the string literal. Right? I hope you have collected this. So whenever we are going to print this like this, right now I am considering only 5, means it will print from 0th index to 4th index. So what is from 0th index to 4th index? In the last previous slide you can see that from 0th index to 4th index it will going to print HELLO. So I'm going to print it, and it is giving I have forgotten to add int I. So int I have to add here, and after that I have to execute. So it is giving the first the size, and after that HELLO. Now I am again modifying this to 6, means now I want to print this null character as well. Whatever the null character here in the last of the string, I want to print, and I am just going to see whether it is going to print or not. So what you see here, surprisingly what you see, that it is not going to print that null character, but also the error is not coming. So what its meaning is, there are two conclusions. First is that whatever the size of this hello will be, thus its size, the array size will be 1 greater than this string literal. And whenever we are going to print that null character, this null character is also not going to print, right? So two conclusions we have made here. And at the last, this thing I have already explained, that this is going to print. One thing I have to explain you, that this character array is also known as string, and whenever you are going to print a string without the loop, you have to use a format specifier that is called %s. Just like %d, %c, %f, we have one more format specifier that is called the %s, and this %s is for printing the string, and this whole is known as string. So whenever you are going to print the greeting as a string, it will print up to the O, because here this string is going to be terminated, so it will give the output hello, right? This null character will not be printed, and this will give like this output. So here I am going to stop my lecture, and in the next class I will explain the union and structure topics. Thank you for listening the lecture.